Russia's 12,420 tanks make it the largest tank force on the planet, and roughly 6 times the size of Ukraine's 2.596 tanks, a circumstance which raises questions about just how realistic it might be for Ukraine to succeed in repelling or stopping a Russian invasion. Also, Russia has about twice as many armored vehicles as Ukraine, and as much as 6 times the amount of self-propelled artillery. The air power margin of difference is equally extreme, with Russia listed as operating 772 fighter aircraft compared to Ukraine's 69 fighters, according to a side-by-side Russia versus Ukraine data analysis from Global Firepower. The United States sent 30 Javelin anti-tank guided missile systems to Ukraine in October as part of its annual military aid to help the country deter Russian aggression, the Pentagon confirmed on December 11. The shipment also included 180 Javelin missiles, the Pentagon said. The Javelins were delivered to Ukraine on October 23. The United States has committed more than $450 million in security assistance to Ukraine in 2021, and this is part of our ongoing commitment to supporting Ukraine's ability to defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity, Pentagon spokesman Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel Anton T. Semmelroth said in the email. The United States in September said it was sending Javelins to Ukraine as part of an additional $60 million military aid package. However, it did not at the time disclose the number of systems and rockets. Javelins are lethal weapons that can pierce tank armor. The United States had previously sent Javelin systems to Ukraine to help it defend against possible Russian aggression. Russia has amassed tens of thousands of combat-ready troops and machinery near its border with Ukraine for the second time this year, raising concerns that the Kremlin could be preparing for an invasion. Ukrainian Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov said last month during a visit to Washington that his nation's military needs have shifted as Russian tactics have changed. He said Ukraine needs U.S. air and naval defense systems now, adding that the nation's ground forces were strong. Ukraine lost much of its navy when Russia seized the Black Sea peninsula of Crimea. Reznikov said the United States agreed to send advisors to Ukraine to study what additional defense systems the country needed. This massive discrepancy in force size and capacity raises the question as to whether Ukraine could stop, delay, or even slow down a Russian assault. Any cursory examination of each force would lend itself to an immediate no, meaning Ukraine is likely to fall quickly should Russia ultimately launch an invasion. Could Russia's overwhelmingly larger ground army be stopped by Ukraine, a force now increasingly armed with some U.S. weapons such as Javelin anti-tank missiles? Should Ukrainian forces disperse and use terrain intelligently to favor surprise elements of attack along expected attack routes where approaching Russian forces appear to be heading toward? Should Ukraine's 2,000-strong tank force find attack positions offering tactical advantage using elevation, terrain, and advanced, long-range targeting sensors to track and destroy incoming Russian armored forces from advantageous hidden firing points? A Russian force that large would need to maneuver and potentially even mass or aggregate at certain critical moments, making their force potentially vulnerable. This is particularly true if Ukrainian forces make use of their now arriving Javelin anti-tank missiles capable of tracking and destroying tanks at ranges greater than several miles. Dismounted individual units of Ukrainian soldiers could quietly lodge themselves in attack positions and potentially destroy Russian armored vehicles without being found or detected. Small units of Javelin-armed Ukrainian fighters would be very difficult for Russian forces to target from the air or the ground, regardless of avenue of approach. Using hills, mountains, or forest areas could prove challenging in eastern Ukraine, however, as the country is reported to have plains in the east and be hilly in the west. However, there will undoubtedly be hills, valleys and forest areas Ukrainian defenses could try to leverage to their advantage. Yet another problem is that Ukrainian resistance will likely face annihilation from the air given Russia's overwhelming air superiority. Once Javelins or Ukrainian tanks fired rounds in defense of their position, they would be likely to give up their location quickly to overhead drones with infrared or thermal sensors able to detect the heat and light signatures emitting from the weapons.